Hello all, welcome back. I'm Alan. This is Alan Reacts, my little corner of the YouTube world. This is the first reaction today, and you guys who know the channel, when it's the first reaction, I don't know the song, I'll dig around on a little bit, the band, some history. If I don't know it, I'll dig it up. So I don't know this song. I know the band. I've reacted to other songs off the album. And myself and Martin, I'm sorry it took so long to get to it, but I do keep a list, guys. If you join the channel and you send me a recommendation and the good reason why, I'll always screen record it and I'll get to it. So this is Genesis with Cinema Show of Selling England by the Pound. And we'll get into the little bits of that I remember from Selling England by the Pound, the two other tracks I've done from there. This is a 10-minute song, so it's a grand opus. I don't think it's as long as Supper's Ready or Firth of Forth, but I'm looking forward to this. Am I going to be taken on a journey yet again? I hope so. I hope so. But here we go. What a beautiful opening. I was sitting back and I'm thinking, where am I? And it's basically, the song may be different, it may take me in another direction, but that feeling of the music was a landscape. I'm looking out over something I can purvey that is mine. It could just be the land in front of my house. I could be just looking at the ocean. And it's just a beautiful introduction to a journey for me. That I'm about to go and walk somewhere or journey somewhere. And this music will accompany me in my mind. I'm hoping. Let's pull it back. Just hear a bit of that, guys. It's just... This is 73, right? This is progressive. This is everything I never knew about Genesis, which I've in their other tracks. And I'll put the playlist in the description, everybody. So go and check out the other 5 reactions I've done to them.
Home from work, our Juliet clears her morning meal. She dabs her skin with pretty smells concealing to appeal. I will make my bed, she said, but time to go. Can she be late for her cinema show? Cinema show.
It's quite mundane, right? The music's beautiful, but there's not a lot going on there. Home from work, Juliet clears her morning meal. She dabs her skin with pretty smells. They're concealing to appeal. So, yeah, it's the illusion of makeup hiding what you really are. Makeup, perfumes. It's kind of Victorian. That's where it stems from, because they didn't bath. I mean, it may be steeped in bigger history than that, but a lot of Victorians, you see with the talc in their hairs, because they were rotten. And then she said, but turned to go, can she be late for her cinema show? Was the cinema show her life, or is it an actual cinema show? It's beautiful. Let's pull it back.
Cinema show. Cinema show. Romeo locks his basement flat and scurries up the stair with head held high and floral tie, a weekend millionaire. I will make my...
Oh, so we've got Romeo and Juliet with Weekend Millionaire. I remember being a Weekend Millionaire, guys. Done that. Yep. First few years of work, it was like, oh my God, it's Friday. I'll spend everything and then everything I haven't got because I want to be a Weekend Millionaire to fill that gap. When I was younger, was I filling the gap or was I just enjoying everything? I don't know, but they allude to it here. Romeo locks his basement flat, so he's stuck in the basement, buried beneath the real world, and scurries up the stair. I love the way the Englishness, and when this album was wrote, The Digging Around, I think Peter Gabriel said it was the best album title they'd ever had, selling England by the pound. I think it refers to some Labour manifesto that they wouldn't be selling out to the Americanization of the Western world. But turns out we did. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's what's happened. We aren't the leading authority in the West anymore in the UK. Hate to break it to all of us Brits. So that's kind of that. And this was recorded over 2 or 3 months after Foxtrot, right? So they'd had a big success. They toured. They were really busy. And I think it was a Charisma or Chrysalis give them 3 months to record this. And it was all sorts of... Although Peter Gabriel later said it was a calm time with the band, this is a band that was like that. As the pendulum swung, great music created and great conflict and great repatriation and all those things from a bunch of musicians that created something this good. You cannot imagine them sitting around just for 8 hours without sort of getting on each other's nerves creatively, personally, whatever it was. So we've got Romeo and Juliet, but set in modern times. But it is mundane. The music's magical and mythical, but the song itself is really quite mundane. Weekend Millionaire, and she slaps on her makeup, and they're going to go and watch a movie. Here we go.
I met with her tonight. He cries. Can he fail? Armed with his chocolate surprise. Take a little trip back with Father Tiresias.
Oh, so it's Father Tiresias. Greek mythology, Tiresias was the blind prophet of Apollo, who was basically turned blind because he beat some snakes that were sort of making the snaky back thing, the joining together of snakes in a way that you can't talk about on YouTube. And for 7 years he was blind, and he went back to the same scene to see if he went back would he be cured, and he was, because he saw what he saw when he got his vision back was things, but he also was transformed into a woman for 7 years. Now this isn't about trans issues, this is about the different emotional status of the cruelty of a man with the compassion of a woman, I suspect. So this isn't about Greek mythology saying, men and women as gender fluid. It really isn't about that. But Tiresias, so he's gone back in time. So he's taken Romeo and Juliet from the past, thrown it into the present, and then juxtaposed it with Tiresias. Okay, interesting.
Listen to the old one speak of all he has lived through. I have crossed between the poles. For me there's no mystery. Once a man like the sea I raged. Once a woman like the earth I gave.
And that's that juxtaposition. Once a man like the sea I raged. That's the thing. And then you've got the woman. Once a woman like the earth I gave. Cool. And how they can pull this into a song. So you got that juxtaposition of past. Is it really about how romance was portrayed in the past and how actually it's mundane in the present? I don't know. Is it ever mundane? I don't know, guys.
I have crossed between the poles. For me, there's no mystery. Once a man like the sea I raged. Once a woman like the earth I gave. And there is in fact more earth than sea.
The pipes, panpipes. The whole tone of the music has changed to give it that feeling that I'm looking at now. My landscape as mythology. The first part was quite modern and classical, and you know the tone was clearly recognizable Western music. This is very much sort of welcome to the mythology of how mythology would be portrayed in music. But I think there's a coyness in this song. There's a quirkiness about Englishness. Yeah.
Tiresias. Listen to the old one speak of all he has lived through. I have crossed between the poles. To me there's no mystery. Once a man like the sea I raged. Once a woman like the earth I gave, but there is in fact more earth than sea.
Another signature change, it's the progression and the progressiveness of this is stunning. Too much for me to understand, guys. I can hear it, but I can't explain it because I haven't even got the capacity to know how they wrote this, yet let alone played it. But I can hear the changes. There seems to be an urgency as we're coming towards whatever the end is. But again, I've been taken on the journey, the juxtaposition in the song, then the journey, the juxtapositions in the music, the signature changes. But it's all this big grand narrative that's really looking at the complexity of how we can look at things as mundane, but when you look into the past we see them as magnificent. So what will 2024 look like to people in 2084 or 3034 if we're still around? Will they look back at us and go, Jesus, primitive or what? Listen to the music, it's so rubbish, except for Genesis, except for the Rolling Stones, I don't know. But this is great from 1973. Beautiful. And there's still more to come. How do you how do you sum up that level of genius? Well, it's genius. So you have Tiresias, and they call him Father Tiresias. That wasn't really strictly, he was more of a prophet to Apollo in Greek mythology. But I guess it's that duality of how we viewed life as a woman and how we viewed life as a man, and how we view relationships, the complexity, and how they're mundane. And it's all of that. It's all of that. It's the different tone of the song at different times. It's just, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the lyrics. It suggests, it opens up with the story of Romeo and Juliet in modern times. Then you look at it back through, when you look at life through a mythological lens, it becomes more romantic and more ideal. But it's it's quintessentially English, really, for me. When you're talking about Shakespeare, etc., then you compare it to Greek mythology. So it's like we're not the only guys that wrote stuff or have stories. You know, as you could argue, us English, we tend to get a little bit blasé about our so-called contributions to the world, and they're not so-called, they're real. But there are stories older than us, and it's great. And I love that song. And I love the fact it's off a quintessentially English album, even though it was progressive. Very English in its way it's put together for me, so far from what I've seen. I love the guys. I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy with an opinion. I'd like yours in the comments. Join the channel, let me know what you think. Till next time, guys, take care.